G'day guys, my name is CJ and I've been using the TicPods 2 Pros for the last couple of weeks. The name is a bit of a mouthful, but what about the headphones themselves? Are they worth your hard-earned cash? Let's take a look. Okay, so total wireless earbuds are common as anything these days, thanks to the death of the headphone jack. Thanks, Apple. Typically, manufacturers go about designing them in one of two ways. They either look like normal earbuds without the cables made popular by the AirPods, or they look like supersized earplugs like the Galaxy Buds, or these Zolo Liberties I have here. Unsurprisingly, Mobvoi have decided to continue with an AirPod-like design with a stalk that points downwards, very reminiscent of Apple's AirPods not only in design, but also function, which is a good thing. These stalks hold the dual microphone array used for phone calls and activating the smart assistants, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Overall, the call quality doesn't quite match the Apple AirPods in clarity, but it's certainly more than usable in a car with loud ambient wind noise on a highway, and the calls do sound a lot clearer compared to the original TicPods. The fact that it sits closer to your mouth also goes a long way to improve the quality, and I think that's where the AirPods also win. Combine this with the two background noise cancelling mics elsewhere on the device, and you've got yourself a halfway reliable hands-free device. That being said, the dual mic tech is actually a Pro model exclusive and not found in the standard option, so keep that in mind. The TicPods 2 Pro are virtually indistinguishable to the standard TicPods 2. They come in three colors: Ice, which is a white color; Blossom, more of a faded pink; and Navy, which is the one that I've been road testing and I really love the look of. The dark blue design gives it a nice stealthy look, and it won't make you stand out too much, something you can't really say the same of for the AirPods. The buds themselves are made of a really lightweight plastic construction that bizarrely sacrifices the old in-ear design for an AirPods-esque one-size-fits-all. And that unfortunately is to its detriment, as not only does it not fit all people, and it can be prone to falling out, you can get pretty bad background noise leak compared to its predecessor. The in-ear design in that old model helped provide a seal between the outside world and your ear, in a way giving yourself its own sort of passive noise cancelling. But to its benefit, if it fits you, it does have an IPX4 waterproof rating, so at least in rain or sweat, it'll be perfectly fine. One of the reasons why it's more prone to falling out is thanks to its more compact design. When you pop it in your ear, it sits quite flush with your head. When looking front on like we are right now, you can hardly even notice that it's on. And that sleek little case, well, it's small enough to fit in that rarely used coin pocket of your jeans, which I love. An important area that it slightly improves on as well is in sound quality. The improved drivers result in punchier bass, crisper highs, and more well-defined mids. Mind you, it's not mind-blowingly different, but you can hear it different. The inclusion of an aptX compatible chips means that high fidelity streaming isn't sacrificed either. Now, in the grand spectrum of total wireless earbuds, I rate the sound coming from the TicPods 2 as a B+. It compares pretty well to other earbuds in this price range, and when you compare it to its closest competitor, the AirPods, it's just a shade less full and detailed, but it does pump out a bit more bass. In a way, they do remind me of sound coming from an old set of Beats headphones. When comparing to headphones with active noise cancelling, however, the TicPods 2 really do fall quite short, which is mainly because active noise cancelling on its own will improve the listening experience. Now, this is then combined with improved latency when streaming video or gaming with your phone. This was a very clear weak point in the previous version. Now, it's still not quite one-to-one like you see in some of the market leaders like with Apple in their AirPods or Sony with their 1000XM3s, but you'd certainly have to be quite focused to notice the lag. Now, speaking about details that you will notice, one area that you and the people around you will notice is head gestures, more specifically the new Tic Motion head gestures. In the earbuds, there's an accelerometer which allows you to pick up and refuse calls by moving your head. Nodding twice accepts calls, and shaking your head twice refuses them. In my experience, they worked maybe 70% of the time, and I did feel like I had to exaggerate the shakes to really trigger them. Now, if the head gestures are a little bit much, then at least you still have the option to answer and refuse calls with touch gestures. 2 taps to answer and a long hold to refuse. But it's not simply limited to calls. Like the previous version, you can adjust the volume with a swipe up or down the stalk. You can also pause a track with a single tap, and you can skip tracks with a double tap. Weirdly, there's still no triple tap option, and instead you have to choose between skipping or going back for the double tap gesture, which is a bit of a bizarre thing to not include. You can also trigger your phone's smart assistants with a tap and hold, which can be quite useful, especially if you combine it with something like the TicWatch Pro 4G. But the important key is that you need to live in a place where the 4G connectivity exists and works. As far as I'm aware, only certain markets like the US with Verizon. If you're an Aussie like me and you live in the land down under where the 4G connection doesn't work, well, a bit of a moot point really. Now, speaking of the smart assistants, one other feature that Movvoy have thrown into the Pro models, if you can call it that, is voice activation, specifically for your smart assistant. So you just have to say the phrase, "Hey Tico," and it's supposed to trigger Siri or the Google Assistant or Alexa or whichever smart assistant that you use. Just then it didn't work. Let me try again. "Hey Tico. Hey Tico. Hey Tico." Yeah, it's not really working all that well. In my experience, it only really triggers maybe 40 to 50% of the time at best. I'm assuming this sort of feature can be improved upon with future updates. We'll just have to wait and see. And then finally, an important feature is battery life. For its diminutive size and construction, it actually has pretty decent battery life, rated it up to 20 hours with the charging case. Though that's actually 3 hours less than the standard model, probably due to the tech that powers the gesture and the passive mic features. Their earbuds on their own will pump about 4 hours on average, which does favor pretty comparably with the AirPods and eclipses the older version as well. In my experience, it's just about matches the battery rating and it'll adequately get you around a domestic flight in Australia. And of course, if you run out of juice, it also has fast charging via USB-C, getting you an hour of juice from just 5 minutes on the charge. Be sure to use the included USB-A to C cable though, because for some reason, USB-C double-ended cables don't work. There is no wireless charging either, which is something that you can get for the AirPods or the AirPods Pro and even the Galaxy Buds. Bit of a bummer, but maybe that can be a feature that'll come in the version 3. But otherwise, that's basically it for the TicPods 2 Pro. It's a pretty decent upgrade compared to the original TicPods, but the Pro does sit at a slightly higher price range at around 190 to 200 Australian dollars compared to 140, 150 for the standard model. But honestly, if you're not particularly fussed about the new head gestures or the voice activation features, the standard model is, in my opinion, still better value. Save that 50 bucks and spend it on something else. You still get the same touch controls, which work just as well, if not better than the head gestures. The sound quality is the same, the fit and finish is basically the same, and you still get more battery life as well. That being said, if you're getting the Pro, you are getting a solid set of wireless earbuds packed with a bunch of features that you don't see in too many competitors. But what do you guys think? Do you think these guys are a worthy competitor for other total wireless earbuds? Let me know why or why not in the comment section below. As always, thanks for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and hit the bell icon to stay up to date. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and of course, say g'day to mum for me. Cheers.